Welcome once again to ArtFlakes. This time around, well, as I've told you earlier, we'll be focusing on Tanzania literature. As usual, today, my regular guest is here with me, who will be going deeply into not only the literature, but the people and the country. Over to you, Mr. Umar Osabo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I hope we can go deeply into this part, because I enjoyed our last discussion about Sudanese literature. It was fantastic.
All right, thank you.
You know, we could mix using Arabic and English language, even though they are foreign languages.
Yes, I think
we couldn't get any Sudanese language that we could even go deeply into. Anyway, that's part of African problem, multilingualism.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing about some of this later in some of the subsequent. So today we're going to be looking at the Tanzanian literature.
Yeah.
But before we go into the literature, you have to look at the locale and the people dwelling in that area. What can you say generally about Tanzania?
Tanzania is one of the great countries in East Africa. And to talk about the history of Tanzania, it's like looking at the history of a modern man. So Tanzania has a very huge history that runs from age to age. For instance, the history of Tanzania started during the Stone Age and the Middle Stone Age. It runs to the post-Neolithic Neolithic age and Stone Age, as well as Coastal Age. Other significant moment in the history of Tanzania is the period of 1850 to 1890, where the German presence is seen in East Africa, as well as the Maji resistance, by the people of Tanzania, as well as the British colonization of Tanzania, which started in 1919, shortly after the Second World War. Generally, according to archaeological findings, we are able to understand that the cradle of man is first seen or discovered according to their discovery. There's a valley which they call Olawuyi Gorge. Olawuyi Gorge is a valley in the eastern Tanzania where the prehistoric stone stools and fossils were found in 1913, and other were found in 1959, and so on and so forth. And so also human skulls were found in this valley, within and outside the valley. That is the Olawuyi Gorge. We generally know it in history as Oldowan Gorge, carved from the Olawuyi Gorge. So this period is this Olawuyi Gorge is seen as the cradle of a man, or the cradle of a modern man on the planet Earth, so to say. And the people of Tanzania were the first set of people, specifically to the history of the Bantu tribe, who are also in the present day Somalia. Tanzania. They were migrants from West Africa who came and settled who came to settle in Tanzania. They were the first set of people who introduced iron work. They were also the first set of people who introduced farming. They were the first of people who came up with the farming tools
in East Africa.
In the history of the world.
But you say they came from West Africa.
Yes, the Bantu tribe. Who came later, shortly after the coastal age. Shortly after the coastal age, the Bantu people came from West Africa, and when they came, they were the first sort of people who introduced the idea of iron work.
So let's look at it. That means that the Bantu, this is where I'm going to. I just wanted you to get to that stage.
Okay.
What you can talk about the Tanzanian literature, or the Tanzanian people, before the advent of the Bantu, you will notice that they were involved in the agriculture, because I'm still in doubt with the fact that they brought agriculture, or they improved agriculture, because they were feeding themselves before the arrival of the Bantus. What were they eating? Only animals or what?
Yes, from the huge materials I've consulted for the sake of this program, there were nowhere, I have not seen it anywhere where it is written that there was any form of farming system.
Yeah.
They could be maybe fishing or hunting and what have you.
Yeah.
Maybe that was what they were doing. But farming as we have it today, from several materials I've consulted, I was able to understand that the Bantu people who were migrant from West Africa, they were the one who actually introduced the modern farming system. They were also the one who introduced the iron work.
That's exactly where I'm going. You said modern farming system.
Okay, modern farming system.
Maybe a conventional farming system.
Okay.
Let's not say modern, because that was still the Bantu time was still.
Okay, let's say let's say conventional farming system. They came up with some certain tools which they use in farming, and they were also the first sort of people who came up with the idea of political system in Africa. They were also the set of people who came up with the idea of politics, how a society should be governed. They are also the first sort of people who came up with the idea of technology and what have you. So this is a period that is very, very, very significant to the...
Can we compare this time with the time, the 1620? You know, it's historical. The United States, 1620 in the history of the United States is historical.
Yeah.
That was when the non-conformists, the Puritans, landed in Plymouth.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Bantu to Tanzania.
Yes.
And the Puritans to America.
Yes, I understand.
You know, when they were searching for the new word, after they were tortured as a result of marriage issue that the king had, King Henry, had with them, with the principle of one man, one wife.
Yeah.
And they stood on their ground that the king could not marry another wife.
Yeah.
So they were forced to leave their homeland.
Yeah.
And they moved to another world. They were searching for a new world where they could worship their God without any human interference.
Yeah.
So by 1620 they landed. They landed with their knowledge of writing. They could write. And they made the Red Indians in Plymouth in the US.
Yeah.
So does it mean, is it that the home was not peaceful for the Bantu? Or is that why they left and moved to Tanzania, the eastern part? They left the entire West Africa
to
and moved to East Africa in mass.
Yes,
and they introduced all this technology you're talking about, because when you talk about engineering, that means they were influenced by the West.
Yeah.
They've got their own engineering from the West Africa.
Yes.
I mean Tanzania.
Yes.
So the same thing, the Puritans.
Yeah.
They went with their writing skills, their political system. They developed earlier than those dwellers, the original dwellers. The Anishinabes and others in the US.
Yes.
What can you say about this? I really want to know why a group of people will leave entire region where they come from, very far, east to west. You can see the distance, and move to that side.
You see, let me digress a little before I come back to your question. From history, most Africans, they were like, when they were living in a peasant society, they loved to move from one place to another. And in those days, I don't call it moving, because I always see that as wandering. I call it wandering. For instance, when I was looking at the history of my people, the Jikun people, who are presently found in the Taraba State, Benue State, and some part of Nasarawa State. When I was looking at their history, how they keep on moving from one place to another, I was using the word wandering because I believe that time there were no roads the way we have it now. So I see that as wandering. And wherever they found it suitable for them, maybe they see the land is arable enough for farming. They see a lot of animal where they can go hunting. They will just settle there. So I think this will not be far from what happened to the Bantus people. I think in a reality, I can say the Bantus were wanderers. They were just wandering from place to place, and finally they got to where it's referred to as Tanzania now, the country of legs. The country, because it's a great Africa, country of legs. So maybe because of the legs or one thing or the other that attracted them, and they decided to settle down there. And maybe before they are coming, perhaps they have idea of ironwork, politics, farming, and all that. And when they came, just like the Puritans in the 16th century of America that came and also met the Red Indians. I think this is the same thing that happened.
So can we say human beings are generally wanderers?
Yes, to some extent, yes.
Because up to today, you see people moving around from one place to another. You talk about immigration. The country try to ban it. Despite that, you still see people finding their way to enter the country. So human beings naturally have that in them.
To
move from place to place, to explore new things, new settings, like that.
You see, sometimes, okay, why will somebody, for instance, you are from Kenya, you have everything, everything that makes life good. But you still want to move from Kenya to another place, or you're in Nigeria, you have everything. You always want to go to Dubai, you want to go to UK, you want to go to Egypt. It's just to exploit. So I see that as wandering. So that has been part and parcel of human being right from day one.
To explore,
to exploit, to have the feelings, to have the feeling or the taste of new environment, to mingle with people different from what you are used to. I think is a natural thing. Is a natural thing.
All right, let's look at another side. You know, before we go, we have been able to look at the country itself, but look at these parts. There's this very important thing I found out in every aspect of a country. When you talk about cultural life of people, you cannot escape the language. You know, you cannot escape the religion, right? Even we have never seen a country where all the dwellers are atheists, who do not believe in God. I've never seen any country in the world today. So what can you say about the religions of the Tanzanian, and how has that influenced their culture? Since we are talking about being the root of humanity, of humans in the world, they had their own culture. Has the culture changed, or is still in place?
I think the culture has changed. Let me start from the prehistoric time. I think that time they were just living like normal people, because from my wide consultation of materials, there is no particular thing or idea that suggests that they have any form of religion. But I think they were living by what Jeremy Bentham, for instance, calls the law of nature. Because every human being has what which I may refer to as Quran or Bible in him. Because without any of these scriptures, you will know that if you steal your neighbor's fowl or goat or sheep or camel, you know that you've committed a crime. You will know that if you beat your neighbor's child unjustly, or you kill him or you kill her unjustly, something within you will surely tell you that conscience. That's the law of nature. Your conscience, if you have a conscience, then that conscience is the constitution in you as a human being. So inductively I can say this is what was guiding the conduct of the Tanzanian people before the coming of Islam and Christianity, because they had earlier contact, romances with the Arab through the Trans-Sahara trade. Through the Trans-Sahara trade, it was during this period that Islam came to them. And so Islam has been there for many years before 1850, where the Germans came. And when the Germans came, they didn't come because they really loved the Tanzania, because they found out that the cotton they were buying from America was very, very expensive. So they were looking for a way, okay, where can we go to have cheap cottons? Because the one from the West, America, is too expensive for them. So they now came to Tanzania. When they came, they decided to influence the people. You know how they go about their own life. They came, they find a way to influencing the people. They stopped the people from farming food crop. They forced them to be farming cash crop. And that was what led to the Maji uprising, where Ibrahim Hassan wrote in his book Kinjiketele. So when we come to discuss African literature, the Tanzanian literature, we'll be able to link this the 1850 to 1590 experience of the Tanzanian people to what is in that text. But until we get there, we will look thereafter. We will look into that in details by the God's grace.
So you mean that they've been adulterated?
Yes.
Their culture,
yes.
Is it partially or seriously affected per se in their appearance, in the way they wear their clothes, in the language they speak? Does it have any significant influence at all?
I think
or they are stronger in their Africanism?
No, they are not. They are not. You know, the whites, they have this idea of, for instance, there's this concept we use, the 3 B's and the 3 C's. The Bible, the bullet, and business.
Because in the bullets, when they use the spiritual method,
it didn't work.
And they realize your heart is too
still,
just too still. Then they will use the bullet.
They will use the bullet. Yes. Or they will use business.
No, they came with the business.
They came with the business.
You know, when the business could not work properly. They realized that people were revolting. They make some spiritual thing so that your heart can calm down. The ultimate one, when they realized the Bible could not work, they came with the bullets. That's why you can see it in Things Fall Apart. This is how they came. If you look at the history of in all the colonial
masters,
you know, that's what they did. They penetrated with business through the leaders. At a stage, they brought the Bible to soften the heart of people who are too strong with their Africanism. Then, when those people could not, they realized that we have to eliminate them.
In my country,
to avoid
in my country, they find it so difficult to use the second B, which is the Bible, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria.
That's why they use different methods. They use indirect ruling system, indirect rule in some parts where they feel that they could not penetrate people directly. And for the fact that we also have the foreign religion that came, that's Islam, from the Arab world. Those one had already established themselves in the north. So you have to understand the influence of all this. So that's one of the things that really affected. I don't know whether that really affected them on the other side from their name and others.
It does. It affected them. For instance, one of the great writer of Tanzania, who generally is considered as the Shakespeare of Tanzania. But not the Shakespeare of Africa.
He's just the father of Tanzania. Every country has
the father of Tanzanian
literature.
Because I've seen in the text consulted in about 3 or 4 places, writers, critics refer to him as Shakespeare of Tanzania. Shaban Robert. Shaban Robert is a Tanzania, a Muslim, and from record we were told that Robert, which is an English name, was given to his father when the father went to the missionary school. So he has no option than to use that name. Just like what has happened in some part of the Western Nigeria. In Western Nigeria, some people were forcefully made or asked to change their names because they want to be educated. It has affected a lot of family. In fact, I
forceful conversion.
Forceful conversion and all that.
You're right.
So I think it affected them seriously.
So let's now look at their literature. You know, do we still have them using the literature? I mean, using their language to convey their message in writing, or they use foreign languages? If there are foreign languages, what are these foreign languages, and how have those languages influenced their literature?
Yes, before looking at the influence of foreign language to Tanzanian literature, I would like to look at the history of the literature of Tanzania before foreign influences or foreign language influences. Most of their literature were oral, were orally documented, which they pass from generation to generation.
Common to
most West African literature,
East
Africa, not just East Africa, common to most African countries.
An Arab world.
Orally documented, which they pass it from generation to from one generation to another. Poetry like the epic, the folk tale, the proverbs,
ballad,
and so on and so forth. They were used. They were the form of literature these people were having before conventional writing came in. So at first they were mostly writing in Swahili language. I'm going to the influence of language, which is a major language spoken today in Tanzania. They were writing in Swahili. Then later the Germans and English came. The German came in 1815. The English came in 1919. But from record, I cannot point to any written literature in German language. But there are literature written, and they are still writing.
Because the German came with only the first B.
Yeah, because they came with the first B, which is
the last B.
And the last B, which is bullet.
If you fail to dance to their tune,
yes, they use bullets.
They use the bullet to get what they wanted, and they move on.
Yes, I bet they failed, and they failed.
Why did they fail? It's because the middle B was not properly used.
It was not properly used.
You know, that is what will soften their heart.
Yes.
Heart is the most powerful thing in human body.
In human body,
You know, so that was their mistake. That's why the British took over from them. And they were able to manage and deal with them holistically in terms of governance.
So I can't point to any literary work
of the Germans.
Or I cannot speak of any German influence to the literature of Tanzania. But the Swahili, most of their works were written in Swahili and in English language. So their thread, they tilt their literary work towards English literature. So there's this influence of English literature in the literature of Tanzania. Yes.
So does that mean that because when you were talking about their religious lifestyle, I thought that if you say that they are Muslims, some of them are Muslims, and when you talk about Islam, there is this link between Islam and Arabic. Why is it that there's no influence of Arabic according to what you have said now? Or do you feel there is, or history does not recognize the text?
I think
you cannot eliminate language from religion, right? But I can't find something like that.
From
what you have just said so far.
Huge materials I've consulted. Though Islam was in Tanzania earlier enough, even before the coming of the Germans and the British. But there was no record. Perhaps history didn't recognize it. But if it is tangible enough, for instance, when we're discussing about Sudanese literature, when we're discussing about the Djibouti literature, we make references to the influence of Arabic literature. But in the case of Tanzania, I cannot see anything like that. So I won't be able, I can't say yes or no, because I did not see it. So because I'm not just talking as a person, I've consulted materials before coming to the studio. So based on the material I've consulted, I have not seen any influence of Arabic literature in Tanzania.
But as a scholar,
do
you think that there might be some text that some people in the past who brought or who had contact with the Arabs? Because if you are talking about Islam, you must have got contact with the Arab. If you are talking about Christianity, you must have got contact with the West.
Yeah.
So do you feel that perhaps there might be some people in that country who might have written a lot, but because they don't have the media, I'm talking about not only the general media or conventional media, even the print media, the text transferring, but perhaps because of the archaic system of recording and because of oracy system.
This remind me of a fundamental issues about the Tanzania Tanzania literature. Generally, the people want to write, but publishing their works is a very, very serious problem. Publishing their works was a big challenge, a very big challenge. Not just publishing, also buying of those books are very, very expensive. So books don't easily come by in Tanzania. So people find, because of this, it led to a very poor reading culture. Perhaps before the coming of the Germans and the Britishers in Tanzania, there could be some form of writing in Arabic language, but I have not seen it. I am just
you know, even from what you have just said, looking at oracy system, they were able to sustain their culture more orally, yes. So there was no significant influence more, like the Arab influence. They came only with religion. They learned how to read and write their text, interpret it, but they didn't go deeply into the literature. Going into writing drama, they might have written religious-based books.
Religious-based book, which we don't consider it as literature.
Because we can't refer to it. It's a literature, but a religious
literature, which we don't discuss it.
General, we're not talking about that here. So, because if we go deeply into that, I'm very sure.
We'll find one or two.
We'll find one or two texts related to maybe neutral one. But neutral one will not sell in the midst of those who are religious. All right. And that's the problem of most of these settings, where you have got more of influence of the British system than the Arab system. You know,
because even if there are religious textbooks written by Tanzanians, we cannot talk about them as literature because it is against the norm or the tradition. Because in literature class we use literary works, which are creative works. Creative works such as poetry, drama, short stories, or novel, or analysis of those works. So these 4 or 5 things I've mentioned are what made literature. So we cannot bring in religion into it.
One thing I found out is that in literature, we use even biblical reference. Is that not religious?
We use even
because of the Western influence. I don't want to believe that when you are discussing literature, you can isolate religious text. No, it depends on who is influencing what. This is politics. This is diplomacy.
Can I come in here?
A literary person must also, because even when you talk about literary devices, we also talk about biblical allusion. Why biblical? Why not Quranic allusion? That's religiosity. But isolating it completely is what I will not agree with. If we were not allowed to go deeply into that, maybe perhaps because of those who are in charge then. But if you get to any setting, if we go to Arab world, if you are talking about Adab al-Arabi here, that is Arabic literature, you will definitely refer to some historical allusion. You're going to allude to some historical text in Quran. All right. So it depends on the setting. That's just my observation.
Can I come in?
Yeah, you can.
Let me digress a little. I think why we don't see the Quranic allusion in the literary works of some Muslim community is because perhaps most Muslims consider Quranic verse, Quran and Hadith to be too sacred for them to be using them in their literature works to epitomize or depict certain character of individual. If they want to discuss literature, they discuss just literature. If they want to discuss religion, they discuss just literature. But unlike the Western world, for instance, when you read John Milton Paradise Lost, you see verses from the Bible. When you read some works of Shakespeare, some works of George Harvard, Edmund Spencer, Philip Sidney, and even Alexander Pope, you see them making references to Bible.
That's why I said,
but we don't have. I'm yet to see anything like that coming from Arabic world.
No, I'm not looking at Muslim Christian. I'm looking at religion, because that's where I came in. You said that whenever we're doing analysis of literature, we are not supposed to be talking about religious text there, and the religious literature are not supposed to be discussed. When you're talking about, you don't isolate that.
No, we are not.
Because it's also a literature.
No, I am not
isolating. Part of literature.
No, I am not isolating it per se. But I want to see a tradition that religious texts influence creative writing. And in that creative work, it be it a novel or a play, and we could see traces of religious allusion in them. Or ideas in them, then we exploit them. For instance, when you read Zainab Al-Khali's work, The Virtuous Woman, I think it's a play, The Virtuous Woman, you see traces of religious allusion, which the northern Nigeria, for instance, has accepted or imbibed it or harmonized it with the culture of the people. For instance, myself, if you read some of my works, you will see the religious allusion, because I came from Islamic background. So I can.
How would you now analyze literature and say the literary work? I mean, the religious text, it should be out of analysis of literature.
No, I am talking at the level of professionalism. Why I'm talking why I say what I've said is because in literature we don't bring politics into literature. We don't bring religion into literature. But we discuss religion. We discuss politics. In context of literature.
That means you have brought it.
We brought it. Yes, it's a technical issue. It's a technical issue. It's a technical issue. And let me explain the technicalities in what I have just said. The technicalities in what I've just said is that if there is a novel or a short story or a poem, that if you read that poem, there are religious allusion. For instance, when you read Ahmed Nagim's poem, Ahmed Nagim or Mahmoud Darwish, a Palestinian who lived most part of his life in Egypt, or Mohammed Nagim is a popular Egyptian poet. You see religious allusion. So if I have seen anything like that in the religion of Tanzania, which in a text like play, for instance, if I see religious allusion in Ibrahim Hassan Kijiketele, definitely I will talk about it. But I'm talking about it not. I'll be looking at it not as a religion here. I'll be discussing it in context and in line with the guidelines of literature, not with the guidelines of religion.
Then we'll be looking at the language in detail. Then you have to prove to me, I have got my. The proof, not even bulletproof and literary proof.
I hope it's not the third
Anyway, dear viewers, thank you so much for being with us. By next time we meet again, we'll be going deeply into Tanzanian literary text, both the drama, the poetry, and the prose. All these parts. We'll be looking at some of their work, and from there you get to know about their lifestyle, because it is through literature that we get to explore the lifestyle of people. You don't know about people if you go deeply into their literary text. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
I hope we can have total or thorough exploration next time.
By the special grace of God.
ArtFlakes.